Hey, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. It's Mr. Reality joined by psychic medium Liz Cross. Liz, how are you?
Oh, great. Thank you. What's this?
This is my Ko-Fi tip jar for you can buy me a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. And with the price of inflation, all it takes is $5 to buy a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. But I'm at 68 supporters right now. So I just want to thank each and every one of you out there who take the time to go through and click this. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you for letting me do this, and thank you for allowing me to be here with Liz. If you want to go there, you can donate any amount, and I'd appreciate anything that you give us. I
Wow.
also wanted to see if we could bring in famed humorist Mark Twain, Samuel Clemens.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. And thank you for putting all these probes together for us.
I don't know why, but Sam Clemens kind of embodies the new year to me, and I wondered if we could ask him about what he's been doing the last 115 years.
Oh, wow. Are you currently here on the earth plane? No, he's not. He's still in spirit. What have you been doing? Oh, he's just been taking it easy, recharging his batteries.
Did he enjoy Christmas?
Did you enjoy Christmas? We don't have Christmas up here.
What? Is it the new year up there? Do they have calendars? Is it Sunday or Saturday there? Is it always just a regular bland Thursday? What's it like?
Yeah. Do you have days? No. Do you have months? No. Do you have, is it New Year up there? No. So how do you tell time? It's just sort of all knowing. Time is irrelevant up there.
Is it foggy?
Ooh, is it foggy? No, it's clear as day.
What do you do for entertainment?
What do you do for entertainment? Laugh.
But you don't have a mouth, you don't have hands, you're just little ping pong balls with UPC codes dripping around. So, how do you laugh?
Ooh, how do you laugh? With our consciousness.
What's funny over there? Tell us a joke from the other side.
Oh my God. What's funny over there? Hilarious life plans that didn't seem to work out, right? Just things about being funny, like once upon a time I was a cat and I thought it would be a good idea to be a stray and dig around in the trash cans and I got sick and died. Ha, ha, ha. Do you find that funny? Really? He goes, yeah, it's hilarious.
We have
The
Twitter
story,
memes for that now. Is it like just meme over there that are funny?
is it just memes over there? He thinks that's funny.
What else
He's,
is comical and humorous over there? And what else do they do for entertainment?
what else do you do for entertainment? Talk about the good old days.
What about the future old days?
What about the future old days? That too. What we learn, how we become better, how we grow, how much longer do we have till we completely ascend out of the reincarnation cycle?
How long is that for him?
Ooh, how long is that for you? Oh, he's got thousands of lifetimes to go yet.
Is that something he looks forward to, or does he look forward to the reincarnation loop more so?
Do you look forward to um the lifetimes? Now he's not one that particularly, gets a massive thrill about coming down here having to do these lifetimes. Some souls do, some souls don't. Do you look forward to leaving the earth plane? He always looks forward to leaving the earth plane. Now, I have to say something here, Mr. Reality. I'm sorry. I know you've got your questions lined up, but this keeps coming to my attention. Now, there's a whole movement of people out there in our CTT group. They know what I'm about to say.
That's my next question. Yeah.
There's a whole movement of people out there that believe that they are going to, and I love to say it this way, exit stage left when they pass and the tunnel from the light opens up and they're supposed to go into the tunnel. And first of all, they believe, and they're spending a lot of time. And I think that's great that you're doing this exploration, but you really don't have a lot of other places to look in terms of information. but they're spending a lot of time saying that they're going to avoid the light. Okay, they don't want to be in the reincarnation trap and cycle anymore. Let me ask Twain about what he feels about that so far. So, what do you feel about that so far? He goes, yeah, if it was possible, he would do it too. Is it possible? No. Okay. And I have asked multiple people in spirit. I've asked source. I've looked around to see if this is a possibility. Like obviously this idea has come from somewhere. So why? Who presented it as an idea? And I keep getting the same consistent answers, which is this is a tool of the dark so that people think that this is their last incarnation here on the earth plane and that they can avoid the reincarnation cycle. Now, here's the problem with it. The problem with it is the fact that source is light, okay? We are cut from source. We are a fragment of source. Therefore, we are fragments of light. Now, source is the light that comes down the tunnel. That's source light that comes down when you pass, when you are choosing or conscious mind, not that you can, but even now, as you're saying you're not going to the light, you are part of that light. And by saying that you don't want to go to that light, you are now rejecting yourself. You are rejecting your own self light. Okay. That we got very strongly in a CTT session one day and in another reading. And I've checked with multiples to see, about this theory. But this theory is an element, a very large element, dependent upon how forthright you are with this argument. It's a rejection of self. So I just want you all to think about that going into 2025. Why don't we shift our consciousness to an acceptance of self, an acceptance of the fact that we are fragments of source and we are light fragments? Why don't we move into an acceptance of self as opposed to a rejection of self? So let's ask Mark Twain now, what does he think about that? Yeah, he thinks it's very doable. And would you think that the best way to go forward into 2025 is more of an acceptance of self? Yes, absolutely. Do you accept yourself? No, even he has problems accepting himself. Why? Because he's also one of these souls that's stuck in this conundrum of, self-love versus self-hate, self-acceptance versus self-rejection. And this is what we do when we're here on the earth plane. We have to figure out how to dispense with the darkness that is within us and how to recreate, reinstall, or reclaim our light. That's the whole point of us being here on the earth plane. But oftentimes we get so stuck in all of these lifetimes trying to figure this out. Now, going forward, Mark Twain, knowing that what you know now, because I've just put this to you, how will you schedule or plan your life out differently? He needs to figure out a way to process, he says.
I agree, yes, and I think it stagnates. And when you're stagnated, you're not moving forward, you're not advancing yourself. So let us know in the comments below what you plan to do in 2025 to advance your soul journey and maybe turn away from those things that you feel might have a darkness within them. I wanted to thank you for that. That's a great advice to everybody, and it's particularly poignant as we come into the new year because I think that's going to help a lot of people. I know you had a struggling childhood with your father dying early in your life and your brothers and sisters also dying early. How did that shape your worldview, Mr. Clemens?
How did that shape your worldview? It made it very dark. It made it very dark. It made it very depressed. He lost a lot of hope because of those experiences. They hurt him very deeply. having those tragedies littered throughout the childhood and through the lifetime. He lost a lot of people during his lifetime.
And I know that we think of you as a satirist, a humorist, but that didn't come till later on in life. So, what was your journey like before you became notoriously famous?
What was your journey like before became you became notoriously famous? He just really kept himself to himself, he's saying. He was very shy about his work. He just ran around in very small circles. It was only until somebody got copies of his work and decided to expose and show them to others and to get feedback as to what they think that gave him the confidence, he says, to produce work that he believes is quite enjoyable for others.
What other incarnation loops did Samuel Clemens have, which maybe contributed to his life, his famous life as Mark Twain?
What other incarnation loops did you have to attribute to? Hmm. He's always had a problem with confidence, he's telling me. And I'm saying, what do you mean by that? No, that this is something that has bothered him even up to this day. He never feels confident about his work.
How about now?
Do you feel confident about your work now? Well, looking back, yes, but it's easy to feel confident from the spirit world as opposed to being in the thick of it.
Does he feel more confident about his work as a steamboat captain or about his work as a writer and humorist?
Do you feel more confident about your work as a steamboat captain? He loved being a steamboat captain. Why? Why? Because it was just him and the river.
Ah, yes, the dream of us all.
You know, it was quiet, it was peaceful, it was relaxing, it was time to contemplate and to think. What about your life as, as a writer? He struggles with that. He struggles being creative.
Did he receive any guidance from higher soul groups or his soul family in dreams or anything when he was
Hmm.
evolving into a writer?
Did you uh did you receive any guidance? He received a lot of downloads, a lot of insight. He would often create the characters in his mind as he was going down the river.
Did he ever see any UFOs?
Ooh, did you ever see any UFOs? He did. He saw strange lights uh as he was going down the river. Yes,
And what were those now that he's on the other side?
they were orbs.
Did the orbs have a consciousness or were they a part of another group,
Did they
extraterrestrial agency?
have a consciousness? He wasn't aware that they had a consciousness at the time, no.
But now,
But now he believes so. Have you ever tried to contact them since you've been on the other side? No.
let's bring him through. Next on the docket is orbs. Welcome to the Mark Twain Samuel Clemens interview. What was your idea when you were visiting Samuel Clemens? And are you physical beings or non-physical entities?
Non-physical ancient peoples attached to the land and the river.
Hmm.
So they were spirits.
Are you anchored to Earth only, or can you travel to different planets and different solar systems?
Are you anchored to Earth only? No, no, they can travel.
And do they have any opinion on the orbs that we're seeing now in the sky over New Jersey and the coast of
Ooh.
North America?
Do you have any opinion on the orbs that we're seeing now? They're saying to me, the orbs are they're ET. Those are ET.
And are they trying
Not
to
the
stop?
drones. Not the drones. I don't want people going, "Oh, Liz, you said drones are this, drones are that." We're not talking about drones. We're talking about energy orbs.
Right. And are they trying to stop the drones that are also in that area, according to the orbs we're talking to now?
Are you trying to stop the drones that are in that area? No, no, but there are military operations now that are trying to capture these drones.
Hmm. All right, well, I want to get back to Mark Twain. If you could tell us something about satirical observation of our current times, what would he write about? What would he observe?
Ooh, aren't you smart? Um, and I mean that too. You are very intelligent. What would you write about now if you were to write something about our times in a satirical manner? What would you write about now? Would you write about the drones and the orbs? Well, yeah, because they are of particular interest to him, especially since they seem to be over the water. Then what else would you write about? The ridiculousness of being human in times now, where people don't want to be who they are, the body and the personality and the circumstances that they've been given. Everybody's trying to run away from themselves as opposed to being honest and being, accepting of the self. He's saying to me, everybody's trying to run away and be something that they're not.
What does he think about artificial intelligence and its input into writing and creating more work of art
Ooh,
and literature?
what do you think about artificial intelligence? It's garbage. It's no longer. He says the thing is about artificial intelligence is it's not observant of the everyday human habit. Those are something, that it takes a lot of observation time. Those are something that are deeply personal, um, characteristics, traits, idiosyncrasies of individuals that can only be experienced with a human eye, not an AI.
Hmm.
He was trying to crack a joke.
What observations can he make on the globe right now, and how much of his time is spent making those observations? Like, do you lose interest in Earth when you're not here, or are you still, you know, made aware of what's going on in America, in England, and in different other countries?
Do you lose interest in the earth when you're not here? Oh, yeah, he's completely disinterested. He's only interested at where his next lifetime picks back up. Some spirits do remain interested, he says, but he's not one of them.
Is there a newspaper up there that he writes for? Does he make any contributions to it?
Ooh, is there a newspaper up there? No. How do people know, or how does spirit know what's going on down here, if you're so far removed from the 3D? Like, we know everything, he says. And I'm saying, okay, do you get like news bulletins or no? It's just an all-knowing.
Are there any sporting events or lottery systems up there that are interesting or intriguing for people?
You want to plan out your lottery win in heaven?
Yeah, no.
That's funny. Are there any sporting events? I mean, there are sporting events. That was a good question. Like what? Like, what is it, the thing where they're throwing something and you have to see how far it
Football?
goes? Mm. Why do they do that? Just for entertainment.
But are there like organized sporting events like football, soccer, rugby?
No.
What level of interaction do you have with the animal plane as you're up there?
What interaction do you have with the animal plane? How they add to the richness of the human experience.
But how do you interact with them? And what is that? Do you interact with them? Or are they on like a different evolutionary track?
Are they on a different evolutionary tract? I mean, they have like little pockets of where, beings are found. Now, something that came through in a reading the other day was that Do highly evolved souls sort of hang around in a different area to those that are less evolved? And that is correct.
But for I'm looking about animals, and so does their tract always lead to being incarnated as a human, or are they as stagnant
Hmm.
in developing a human incarnation as humans are to getting to ascension?
That's a good question because the reason I brought up the low evolutionary thing was because I equated animals to be lower on the lower on the evolution or ascension scale. And mostly that is true. So, how do you interact with them? I mean, you have meeting points and things like that, but do all animals have to go through a process of becoming human? Mostly. Are there animals or are there souls that have crossed over and are out of the reincarnation cycle now that have never been humans? Oh, yeah, there are. There are. But they still were highly evolved sort of primates.
What about cats? A lot of cat ascensionary processes over there.
A lot of cat. No, cats need to come and be human.
What about elephants?
Elephants, do they skip over the human? No. Is it now that we have evolved so highly into as humans, do souls now all have to experience the human lifetimes, the human existence in order to come out of the reincarnation cycle? Yes, 99.9% of the time, yes.
Samuel Clemens, what's he working on for his next incarnation?
Hmm. What are you working on for your next incarnation? What? He's going to be a farmer.
Of
Of what?
Bitcoin?
You're so funny. Of what? Of rabbits. He's going to be a rabbit farmer.
A rabbit farmer. Well, that doesn't take a lot of work because I mean rabbits, there are a lot of rabbits and they make more rabbits. So you just got to
Yeah.
put two rabbits. Well, it's a family show. We won't tell you, hey, make more rabbits,
Yeah.
but um
Um,
how
why?
far
Why
out
do
in the
you want
future
to
is that?
be? Yeah. About 100 years. Why? Why do you want to be? Because it's going to be the meat of choice. What? So you're saying that going forward in the future, are we no longer eating chicken? I mean, we still eat chicken, but chicken's going to be a luxury. Okay, so what he's saying to me, going out into the future, their chickens are going to be wiped out through so much disease and there's going to be lots of problems with that food supply
Oh no.
that going yeah, that's what he's saying. And what about beef? No, beef is going to be practically non-existent. Will be banned from eating meat, which that's not the first time we've had that in a probe
Is this
going
North
out.
America? Is this the world over? Is this England, India, China, or just the United States?
Where is this? Is this like, this is the world over? And is this because of the green agenda? Yes. Rabbit is going to be like the replacement of chicken. Will we have a lot more vegans in the future? Yes. Yes. So are you saying we're going to shift mainly from like a meat-based diet into meat's going to be a luxury in the future. So any sort of meat, I'm not just saying meat as in red meat. What about fish? Are we going to shift away from fish? No, we will always seem to eat a lot of fish.
What level of input do you have from your soul group when making your next incarnation? Or is it solamente you that decides what path you're going to take?
What level of input do you have from your soul family? Oh, it's a cooperation. Like they have to agree on the circumstances, for his mother, his siblings. Are your siblings and mother and your father, are you all the soul family again? Yes. Are they going to have any early deaths? No.
Are you going to reincarnate into the Twain or Clemens family line?
Ooh, are you going to reincarnate into the Twain or Clemens family line? That's the plan.
And does everybody do that mostly, or do people flip to different soul groups?
Ooh, does everybody do that mostly? Yes, most of the time they stick within the same soul group, the same bloodline, family line.
I wondered if he could tell us a maybe parable that would exhibit what people should look out for in the next year.
Mm. What should people look out for in the next year? What do you think that, like within just the next year or going forward?
Going forward in the next year and 5 years.
Okay, what sort of parable are we gonna have going forward? We're losing sight of this one size fits all Jesus. Okay. Now, I understand what he means by that. Whereas before, in simpler times, where there wasn't access to all this information, we would have certain beings that would walk the earth plane and that would be a representation of, the moral high ground, how we're supposed to live, things like that. Now, as we're going forward, it's going to be lots of different people, lots of different entities representing like certain sects of the population that resonate. So it's going to be more about who or what you resonate with, as opposed to like in his words, the one size fits all Jesus.
Can he tell us about the absurdity of modern politics now versus in his time? Does he see much of a difference?
No, it's all absurd.
Will that change or will that continue to be absurd?
It won't change.
What about justice and social justice for people?
What about social justice for people? What is that? What does that mean? What do you mean by what about the social justice for of people? I mean, again, you're going to have lots of different pockets of people, lots of different pockets of society. It's not going to be like one cause anymore. It's going to be lots of little pocket causes. So, maybe this part of the country or this part of the world thinks, we should fight for this and this part should fight for that. It'll all come together as a collective. But politicians are going to struggle with trying to keep up with the amount of different causes there are, that there's going to be out there that's going to present themselves because it's no longer, one cause. Now, an example that he's giving to me is like the Vietnam War, right?
Hmm.
At one time, everybody was, or a lot of people, or the biggest cause was, the anti-war movement. It's not going to be like just one anti-war movement. It's going to be, you know, uh, a movement against, high taxation, or a movement against, injustice, or migration, or a movement against like certain farming techniques. Why is it that you want to be a farmer? It's the most important job in the world, he says. And I'm like, okay, I understand that you have to feed people. Do you not think that, having children is the most important job in the world? He goes, well, yes, of course it is.
What about the conflict in
Children,
Russia and Ukraine? I was going to ask him about since he brought up the Vietnam War. Does he feel that will be a rallying cry in the future?
do you feel that that's going to be a rallying cry in the future? No, this is going to stop soon.
And I wanted
Uh,
to know what he thought about the nature of mankind and what does he think that the purpose of life is down here?
ooh, what do you think the purpose? Because where I said like I would have thought raising children was like the most important job. But it's not about just raising children. It's raising good children, right? You're not raising children just for, the sake of yourselves. You're
Right.
raising them for the world. So, what do you believe going forward, like being human looks like? He says, we're going to become more selfish, more narcissistic, more isolated, more just in our own worlds, just living out our own versions, unique versions of ourselves without a lot of overspill onto each other.
What does he think now about the American dream and what that means? Is it have any merit in today's society? And what can people do to achieve it?
Mm. Um, I like how he said the overspill thing because, of course, that's what storytelling is about, right? It's being able to understand somebody else's life other than your own. So are you saying that storytelling is diminishing? It's yes, he says it is. We're no longer going to relish in the experience of others. We're going to just be self-absorbed. Now, what do you think about, sorry, America? Gosh, I'm sorry. What was your question?
Just in the American dream and how what
The
people can do to
American.
pursue that. But I'm glad that we'll turn away from celebrity culture following.
Um, what do you think about the American dream? It's diminishing, right? That, what about American exceptionalism? That's diminishing too. So this idea of, being able to come here, yes, you work hard. Yes, you can make something of yourself, but we're not going to see like the success stories of the past where people could just turn up. They didn't have to have an insane amount of education or an insane amount of money. All it took was a lot of hard work and some wit about yourself, and you could turn nothing into something very quickly and very easily. It's going to become much harder. You have to have this educational background. You have to have money in your pocket. Okay. Now that that right there, that tells me everything I need to know.
Hmm.
Okay. Because we keep getting that repeatedly going forward. We keep getting that, it's going to get harder and harder and harder. And that, we have to get prepared for that. And that's exactly what we work on, getting prepared for and preparing the soul and sending the information over to the soul that these things are important going forward in the future. It's no longer just about, oh, I'll worry about the finances when I get there. Or, that's not sort of what is on my agenda. It is important going forward
Is he
as the world
optimistic?
is getting harder and harder and the economy is getting harder. And we're starting to see a more of this rich, poor divide where people will be born into certain social class structures and they will never be able to get ahead of those. So let's ask Mark Twain, is that what you see for the future? He goes, yeah, you're right. And I mean, we've probed that every which way we can to get, keep coming up with that information. And here again is another confirmation that, this American dream, this idea of being able to climb out of your social status is going to be harder and harder and harder. So for those of you that may have souls that believe that this, financial stability and access to financial freedom is not important, whether you're in this lifetime or in future lifetimes, I would say you need to come to the CTT and the CTT channel and learn how to send that information to your soul to prepare your soul for the future. Now, you may not think that that's important, and you have to remember that once the soul leaves the earth plane, a lot of these things that we do worry about here on the earth plane become null and void. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to take some information with you.
And besides rabbit farming, is there anything that he thinks people should invest in now, which might help them along that path towards greater financial freedom?
Organic farming. Organic
It seems
farming.
like that is a path towards self-development and not financial freedom
Mhm.
development because there's only so much
Mhm.
farming I can do.
I know. And to think that we've worked so hard to come up with so much equipment and to make our lives easier, and we don't have to worry about growing our own food and starving through the winters and canning and all preserving. We are going back to that at a big level. Now, when you say organic farming for the future, what do you mean? He means like sustainable energy farming, new farming ideas, he says. He loves nature. He loves the land. He loves clean water, preservation of the earth. So that's his sort of go-to.
And can he tell us another joke?
He says, I would, but I'm all out of time.
Who's taking you go somewhere? You got somewhere to be? You got coffee to, where are you going?
That was the joke. There is no time.
Oh, ha ha, went right over, whoosh, right over my head. Um, well, I wanted to thank Liz Cross and each and every one of you out there and wish you a happy new year. And I want to thank Samuel Clemens for spending part of his day with us. I know he's got a lot to do up there. He's got to get going. So
Well, he's planning out his rabbit farm.
he's got to
How
plan the rabbits. Are there rabbits over there? And as you talk to rabbits now over there, finding out what their needs are, or
do you talk to rabbit? There's a lot of souls that want to sign up to be part of the rabbit farm. Right now, I have to ask one last question before we go.
sure.
The fact that you're going to be a rabbit farmer and that these souls are signing up to be part of your rabbit farm, what does that do on a karmic level? The fact that you then have to kill them for food. Oh, they're all good with that. Does that have any karmic repercussions on you? Yes, it does, but it's a deep understanding that this is the job that we have to, and we have to feed the souls that are here. And then the last question was, were we going to shift into more of a vegan sort of existence going forward over the next 50 to 100 years? And I got a yes on that.
What about you going to call the rabbit farm?
What are you gonna call the rabbit farm? He's not sure yet.
Ah, I was hoping for a good joke.
Oh, you're so
Bunnies
funny.
are us. No, we don't want that. All right, everybody. Leave your rabbit farm suggestions for Samuel Clemens and he'll make sure he reads the comments below. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, Mark
Yeah,
Twain.
thank you. Will you read the comments? Yes, he will. All right, we'll stop this one here. Thank you so much, Mr. Reality, for putting this together for all
See
of
ya.
us. Thank you.